So why on earth did I start a third YouTube channel? This is actually the first, the fourth. It's not the third. But why am I doing this? Well, there's a certain interesting degree of, I would say, mental struggles, but I don't mean like it's not the right word, but I would say that mental struggles that comes with being a successful YouTuber. And I'm not saying that I'm super successful, but I do have a channel where I happen to have, oh damn, cloud is dying, sorry. I happen to have 60,000 subscribers. And it's grown through the years, and it got me, like, it's big enough that when I walk down the streets, whenever I'm traveling of whatever country, whatever city, it always happens that I get recognized eventually by someone who says, "Hey, are you Alex from YouTube? I love your videos." And because I have this channel where I teach people how to make music, right? Because I'm a musician, that's what I do for a living, and I love inspiring people, I love helping people. And I thought YouTube would be a good place where I could promote a inspiring message of, hey, whatever dream you have, you can do it too. I did it. Here's how I did it. So that's what I do. I explain people how to make music, and I'm super passionate about that. However, obviously, I'm a person and I'm a human, which means I'm not monodimensional. I am multidimensional. And what happens on YouTube is you have people talking about their passion, right? Like, I'm passionate about music and playing music, but I have more passions. Like Final Fantasy is a huge passion of mine. So what happens is that, well, on that channel, when it wasn't that popular, I could do anything, no one would care. That's where you start. Like, you are not very well known and no one cares what you do. No one gets offended if you do a type of content that they don't enjoy. But as you start to get more and more popular, like I did, you basically get to the point where maybe you make music and you teach people how to make music, but maybe you love Final Fantasy. So sometimes you make Final Fantasy covers. And people might start to be, weirded out by that. Like, they're like, hey, I subscribed for orchestral music tutorials. I don't care about Final Fantasy stuff, so why do you make covers? That's not what I subscribed for. And you would argue like, okay, but what do you care what people think? Like, it's still your channel, and that's true. And that's why I didn't care for the longest part. But then, as YouTube being YouTube, there's been some algorithm changes, and basically the algorithm, you heard this word so many times, it's what's governing the growth of YouTube channels. It's what determines how many people are gonna see your videos. Initially, it was just determining how many people see your videos when they search for stuff, or how many of your videos get suggested to people. But as YouTube went on, it started to determine if your subscribers would even see the videos you uploaded. Now we're at a stage where being a subscriber to your channel doesn't mean that people are gonna see your videos. They will if the algorithm decides so. And how does the algorithm decide so? Well, depends. If a person has been ignoring your past uploads for a bit too much, then the algorithm believes that he doesn't want to see your videos anymore, so he doesn't show the new videos to that person. It might even unsubscribe the person from your channel without that person even knowing, or without you even knowing, just because that person hasn't seen your last 3 videos. So when that change happened, this thing that sometimes I made videos about music, about, Final Fantasy covers and stuff like that, it kind of slowly started to deteriorate the reach and the engagement of my videos completely. And also, it wasn't so cool to have the conversation of, like, whenever I made a Final Fantasy cover, of people saying, hey, can you make tutorials, or can you make original music? I don't want covers. And, you start to, initially you started and you were doing whatever passionated you. And as you get more popular, in order to keep on your channel and growing, you have to please the algorithm, which means you have to please people. And you, coming from a place where you wanted to do something that passionates you, end up being in a place where you have to serve your audience and do whatever they want you to do. And thus, you cannot become a slave to an audience. Now, I'm not complaining, because this is a much better job. It's a much better job than actually, I don't know, flipping burgers at McDonald's, or doing a job that I hate. Like, I'd love to make tutorials, I love to make music. But again, I'm multidimensional. And being a content creator is interesting because what you're doing is like you're putting out there what is inside you. for other people to find, other people like you to find that and be inspired and watch this video and then jive with you and vibe with you. And as I did that with music, I was like, hey, I want to do this with Final Fantasy as well and with games as well. So eventually I was like, I don't want to hurt my channel anymore. And I don't want to fight with my audience all the time that I publish the Final Fantasy stuff, and I don't want that to underperform. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna create a different channel. One where I'm gonna be followed by people who are into video game music. Because what I'm gonna post there is only video game music stuff. Thus, people will subscribe for that thing only. And when I will release video game stuff, it's gonna do well for my algorithm and it's gonna do well with the audience. So I was like, let's do that. And so I created my Alex Moukala music channel, which is the channel where I do that. I publish covers of video game music, and now I've been doing some music reactions to video game music. Still, video game music content for video game music lovers, so that they will find me there and they will be cool whenever I do those sorts of content. If I did the same on my tutorial channel, it would underperform and do very badly. Now, here's the thing that happened. The second problem that I had, second big wake-up call, is when you're a YouTuber and you get popular and everyone starts to, love you very vocally and tell you, you're awesome, please make more videos. And when they see you on the streets, they stop you, they tell you about how they love your videos. You start to think hey, wow, these people really love me. They are here for me. You're like, they're here for me, so, if I start a secondary channel, they are still gonna follow me. Yeah, maybe they're not into that content that much, but surely, at least they're gonna subscribe to support me. And that's what I believe. So when I started the Alex Moukala music channel, I was like, okay, it's gonna be starting from zero. But since at the time I had, I think 50,000 subscribers on my channel, or 40,000, I think 40,000. And I was like, okay, well, whatever. If I start a secondary channel and I tell 40,000 people through my YouTube community tab and through my YouTube videos by plugging my music channel, surely, even if 10% of those people follow me, which 10% is nothing, I'm gonna start with 4,000 subscribers. That's amazing. That's a good number. So I thought. So I created Alex Moukala Music, and there I went and I published it, and I published a few songs there and tell people, check out the song over there, it's only available there. I have a music channel, blah, blah, blah. And what happened is that on the first 24 hours, 200 people followed out of 40,000. So much for, wow, people love me and they will follow me because they like me. I received a slap on the face from life that told me, just because you're famous on a YouTube channel doesn't mean that people are actually after you. They just want to see content that you provide them, but you don't really matter to them that much. They will follow you anywhere. Now, that also depends on who you are. Of course, if Markiplier started a cooking channel or whatever, everyone will follow him because he's a personality also. I was making tutorials, so it's not funny content. And also, 60,000 people or 40,000 people is not so much. But yeah, that was a wake-up call because I was like, wow, everyone told me that they love me and stuff, and now this is what I get. And at first I was offended, and I was like, damn, people don't really give a fuck. And then I was like, yeah, people don't give a fuck, because but that's normal. Imagine if you go out with your friends and you love them and you love hanging out with them because you both like Smash Brothers and Magic the Gathering, and you are gym bros, so you also talk about the gym and you talk about girls. What if one day your best friend stops loving Smash Bros, stops loving gym and girls, and you don't have any common interest anymore? Well, are you gonna hang out with them as much? Maybe you would do that in service of your friendship, but it wouldn't be the same anymore. Unless you can find common interests. It's very unlikely that is gonna happen. And that was the same. I start YouTube channel talking about music for games. Maybe they're not into that, so why would they follow me? They shouldn't care, and they didn't. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna start from square one and just redo it again from scratch. And that's what happened with Alex Moukala Music. And I'm pretty happy about how it turned out though, because right now that channel, I feel, has people who didn't know me before, and now they know me because of game music, and they're way more enthusiastic of whenever I make game music content. They really vibe with me and they love that. Compared to before, when I was on the other channel, and I still have the other channel. Well, on the other channel, I only make music and educational content. But before, when I published video game content on the other music channel, I almost had to apologize for that. It was like, oh, sorry guys, I know it's nerdy for this music and you don't care, but here's something I love. But now, because I'm on a channel that has an audience that I built precisely for that, and those are my people when it comes to video game music, when I publish stuff there, I don't have to apologize. I actually get celebrated because of that. So the YouTube thing, the struggle that I have there is sort of like the struggle you might have when, I don't know, you go out in a group of friends, but you don't really belong there. And you feel like you have to hide your nerdy self, hide your nerdy whatever hobby you have because they wouldn't understand. So you feel like you're apologetic and you're like, oh, sorry guys, I'm awkward. My advice for you, if you find yourself in that situation, be it that you're a YouTuber or you're a person in a friend group, is like, just find a group of friends, like work on setting yourself in a way where you can attract the people who are into the same stuff that you're into. And this is the best way to have the best, in my mind, friendships, the best relationships, and the best YouTube channels. So why did I start this third one? Well, because the people who are both on my tutorial channel and who are on, I'm failing this fight by the way because I'm talking. The people who are on my tutorial channel and the people who are on the music channel might not care about me talking about stuff, you know? Yes, I'm still playing games and there's music in games, true. But I'm not providing the educational value of my tutorial channel, and I'm not providing the music content that I'm providing on the other channel. So it might be the case that this channel will be seen by no one, except for maybe my friends who are actually interested in me, the person. And that's completely okay. Because I also feel like creating content, again, is something you do also for the people, for the audience you're trying to serve. And it's a very beautiful thing to do this, you know? But also for yourself, like creativity is healing, really. It's gonna sound hippie as fuck, but creativity is healing, especially when you're doing it based on the stuff you love. It's so good. So I do believe that sometimes it's good to create even just for the sake of it. And that's what I believe I'm gonna try to do on this channel. And this third channel is just gonna be about me, like having this sort of like podcasts and gaming and being a nerd and talking about deep stuff. I wanted to create this space for me to express myself that way. I might as well one day talk about the advice I have in order for people who are actually want to start a channel that is going to become successful. Maybe not today though, because there's a lot of stuff to talk and I feel like I'm rambling a lot already. And this fight is so tough that it's so hard to talk while playing.